peleando por el honor de Miami Gallos, Shabazz.
Making his way into the ring, hoping to get something going tonight for Miami is Shabazz, who has sporting a new haircut. Matter of fact, he cut his long hair off and said he wanted a new clean look. It looks very nice. Way to go, Siju.
He's got it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I'm a little partial to that type of cut myself.
Yeah, so looks just like somebody sitting to my right here.
I could definitely relate with him.
Siju, a very religious man. He was raised in the Shinjimatsu Gangan Temple. What that means, I don't know. But anyway, he's one of 28 children by his father.
Oh my God.
28.
Wow.
Thank you. Far too kind. Can I get an encore? Do you want more? Cook and roll with the Brooklyn boys. So for one last time, I need y'all to roll. Yeah. Now what the hell are you waiting for? After me, there should be no more. So for one last time.
Here's the world traveler. I love this guy, Kennedy Katende. I like both these light heavies. They're very nice young men. He's going to be 26-year-old in March. He was born in Rubaga, Uganda. He lives in Sundsvall, Sweden, and London with his father. He just got back from Sweden where he got a silver medal in the national championships. He was not happy about that. He speaks a lot of English. You know, Uganda used to be a British colony. For his name, Kennedy. But he's got great power, ring savvy. I'd say he's very unique.
He's a long way from home right now, Alan, he is, and I'm looking forward to this fight. A lot of good intangibles coming in. You got two guys. You got a guy who, you know, has a lot of experience and a lot of height advantage here, and it looks like it's going to be a very exciting fight tonight.
Making the announcement here, I can't hear over the Aztec drums, but God bless them, they're working hard. Shabazz, I said he was one of 28 children. He started in karate. He attended New Mexico State University. He graduated with a degree in small business management and financing. He's learned, you know, he could be 3-0. He's 1-2 in this series. This is a tough division, the light heavies. I know you used to fight in this division. It's a lot of power in this division. You got to be able to move, and I know you're looking forward to seeing these young men compete. I was talking about Siju. You know, his last fight in Mexico City, Coach Pat Burns thought he was robbed. He fought a very tough Javier Ortega down here. Two judges had it close. There's Siju Shabazz getting announced. But this guy said he used to be a banger, but he's been working on his technique. He's gotten better every time, and I really believe he could have been 3-0 at this point. Now, as for this guy in the other corner, started boxing when he was 12 years old. When his mother died, he became very depressed. He put on a lot of weight. His father made him run with him to stay in shape. He didn't like running, so he said, I'll start boxing. And it's paid off for him. One of the most well-known. He's fought all over Europe, Eastern Europe, Russia, Scandinavia. 2000 Beijing Olympia.
Touch the gloves. Let's take a look at the head-to-head here. We got a 6'2" guy and a 5'8" guy. Once again, we got a big height disparity, almost the same weight, 4-pound advantage for Shabazz, and then 1-2 compared to 1-0 in the tournament so far. So both guys pretty even terms.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was impressed with Kennedy Katende. January 27th in Memphis. He made his debut against the 11-time Hungarian national champion Emre Zello, who is bad news. And Zello had no clue as to how to handle Kennedy's style, and he won that fight, Kennedy did. Kennedy Katende against Zello.
I like how Shabazz came out in this first round. I like how Siju is boxing. His hands are up tall. He's using the jab immediately, and that's exactly going to be one of the major keys to winning this fight, due to the height disparity alone. He's got to keep the shorter Katende at bay. And I like how he's starting to control the pace and the tempo early in this first round.
Hard
left hook. Good hard left hook by Katende.
Watch out, Katende's slick. Now, Siju last time out lost against Robert Brandt in Miami of Memphis. Brandt was a rematch from the 2009 Boxing National Championship gold medal match, which Brandt won 11-9. So Siju's still stinging from losing to Brandt, not only in the Nationals, but here in the World Series of Boxing. But his technique is greatly improved, but I told you, it's tough to figure out what to do with Kennedy Katende.
It is, but in the meantime, what he's got to do, he's got to taunt him and feint him, and he's got to use that jab. When I say taunt and feint, I mean he's got to fake like he's going to shoot the jab. He's going to shoot the jab.
Foot fake.
Exactly. He's got to do things to offset the split Katende, and that will open up other punching and offensive opportunities for him to land punches later on in this fight. Good left hook again. CJ actually had his hand up. It sounded worse than it really was. Good left hook by CJ.
He's really in his own element right now, figuring out what to do in this fight.
He's boxing very well. He's got Katende on his back foot a little bit, sliding around. Good jab. He's caught most of Katende's big left hooks in this round, and he's scored a few times himself, so he's coming out with the right game plan.
I mentioned that Katende will move a lot. You see that. Now there's a little holding right there on the inside. Looking like a veteran coming out of that clutch, knowing what to do.
Body shot that was caught by Siju.
Caught it with his elbow. Good job.
He did a good idea by Katende. Katende's real loose for a big guy. He actually shoots his punches. He's got real loose shoulders, real loose arms. He's able to wing those shots very hard. So big he is. Very impressive. Good body shots by Siju.
Digging in there right there. Looking up for the uppercut. Katende tried to shoot that uppercut. Once again, he shot it again. Which is a textbook thing to do. Both guys have great personalities. I really like when you get to know them. Always smiling. But this is serious business right now. There's no smiling in there.
Katende leaping in with that left hook. It's a very dangerous strategy. So you got to continue working that. Good right hand.
Tough round to score, I would think.
It is, but I feel like Siju controlled the tempo, controlled the pace. Landed more good left hook by Siju right there. And landed Siju actually the cleaner punches on that one, I feel like.
See some of the work right here. Siju is more
body shot. Fantastic.
He's really come on the last 2 months. That first round is an indication he's more polished. He looks like more of a pure boxer than he said. He just used to be a banger. He's not banging anymore. He's in there thinking.
He is, and it's nice to have that banger mentality and turn that banger how to be a boxer, because they can always go back to banging if they need to. But the fights that can be won easily boxing, you like to see him do that. I thought Siju fought very smart in that first round. Good left hook by Katende there.
It's hard to hit and not get hit, though, isn't it?
It is. That's why it's the sweet science.
Yes. Round number 2 scheduled for 5. In the light heavyweights, Mexico City has closed this match out tonight, winning the first 3 matches. But watching the development of Shabazz of the Gallos, this is his 4th fight in this series. Katende joining late, this is his 2nd fight in this series. Siju had a pretty good first round. Let's see if he can continue to build on that and get Miami a victory tonight.
He did, and I actually gave him that first round 10-9, Alan, because I feel like he was the aggressor. I feel like he landed the cleaner punches. Katende shot some really hard punches, but he didn't land quite as clean as some of Siju's.
Let's see if Kennedy makes any adjustments for what he's been in against. All the good fighters do, but he's just throwing. I told you, he's a lot of movement.
And looking at the 2 fighters, you wouldn't think the fight would take place in this manner. You'd think the shorter Katende is going to come rushing in at Siju. Siju's going to have to find a way to box. It's actually the opposite.
That's a great point. Siju setting off that ring, looking to fire that right hand.
He'll have much more success with that right hand if he'll use an educated jab. He's kind of put the jab away, which is something I really liked in the first round. It allowed him to control Katende a little more. He's not using the jab as much in the beginning of the second round. And I think that'll really help him land his punches down the stretch.
Shabazz in the blue trunks, looking at even his record of the season at 2-2. I talked to him yesterday. I said, don't get discouraged. He says, I'm not. I've really learned a lot under Pat Burns and his coaching staff. And that's the secret, you know, in the World Series of boxing. You can suffer losses, but learn tremendously from those losses. Unlike a professional, where you got to shuffle back to the back of the line immediately. Here, you can just develop. There's a nice right hand. Oh, he tried to shoot an uppercut there. Katende's going to shot an uppercut. Now here comes Katende forward.
Katende started to change the strategy a little bit because he felt like he wasn't being effective enough on the outside. He's now trying to come in, looping his punches a little wide. And CG's actually seeing a lot of those punches, so Katende's going to have to be more accurate if he wants to be able to make the strategy work. Not to mention, you burn a lot of energy when you loop those big wild shots and you miss. So once again, if CG will use the jab, an educated jab, I think we will see him wear down the bigger Katende later in this fourth and fifth round.
He's got an uphill battle too, because conditioning's everything up here in Mexico City. Now, also Katende, I talked to him yesterday, and he just flew all the way back halfway across the planet. He flew from Sweden to Frankfurt. Then I forget where from Frankfurt, but he finally got back to Mexico City. He said it was really cold there in Sweden. Imagine that. 10 seconds left, round 2. Something like -15.
Kind of a tough round to score here.
This is a little wallowing match here on the ropes. Nobody's really landed anything real clean.
No real clean punches that round.
Uh-oh. Got a headbutt.
Caused by a clash of heads.
We've got a cut over here they're going to look at.
Let's see if we can find it here.
Well, you get in there, that close quarters like that, it's going to happen.
Good right uppercut by CG again.
You're doing
Was it
excellent.
caused by a punch?
Don't
I was trying
in.
to get the
Tie
referee up here to
uppercut him.
let me know if it was
Uppercut
caused
him.
by a punch. I'll
Wide
try to
open.
get a reaction on that.
Dropping his freaking jab hand. You just come over the top of that jab hand with the right hand.
He's cut. He's cut. He's cut.
He's going to be done.
Yeah, there's the cut. I think it was ruled by a punch, but I'll get somebody to go find out if it was ruled by a punch. We'll just try to ask one of the judges if it was an accidental or a punch. It makes a big difference. We don't like to see that. It takes a while for those cuts to be cured.
It was a headbutt.
Headbutt, okay. Just got word it was a headbutt. Our illustrious producer just right up there found out. So that can make a difference.
So if the fight were to be stopped, we'd go to the scorecards.
Go to the scorecards. That's where we would go.
Maybe this created a slight bit more of urgency for Katende to start to really get out there and let his hands go.
Yeah, there's blood already flowing from that cut. It's on the outside, but you can talk about this. It changes your. Some people, some fighters, it's a positive reaction. Some fighters, it's negative, isn't it, Florence?
Yeah, it is.
No, they're going to take a look now.
If you remember Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns, whenever they had their 3-round war, Tommy Hearns actually cut Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
They're going to stop it right now. Kennedy's got to be real unhappy about that.
But I think if it was caused by a headbutt, we got to go to the scorecards here. But I don't know what the minimum amount of rounds is to be completed before they go to the scorecards. We're only in the third round.
We do not. Either way, we do not have any draws. There will be a decision made by our WSP commissioner on site here to determine who he feels won this fight if the cards are inconclusive.
And in the pros, you got to score the round where the fight was stopped. So, you know, I've got it 1 round apiece for the first 2 rounds.
Don't worry about it. You're just going to go out there. We'll take it back.
Looking back at that 3rd round, it just started the 3rd round. I really didn't have a chance to give an advantage to either fighter.
Well, that's unfortunate. I wanted to see these guys go the full distance tonight. We'll get a ruling here on what happened. I mean, that's boxing, isn't it, BJ? I mean, take a look at some of that action there. I really want to see Kennedy and CG go at it tonight, but hey, that's the way it goes in the sport. That thing started pouring immediately after the round started, and the referee wisely saying, you know, I gotta take a look at this situation. And so Gerardo Paggi took it over to the doctor, and you see the reaction there. This thing needed to be stopped. There's no sense in really further damaging these guys. You know, if you see that it's just going to get worse, let's don't let it go any further.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I do like what CG was doing early in the fight. He was landing some clean punches. Katende was actually shooting a lot of hard punches, but missing a lot of them. You can see CG was rolling with those punches, not as effective as they might appear or sound. I'm very curious to see what happens, though. How the judges scored that 3rd round, that will determine everything.
We'll get an axe twist from Victor Pernico, and I'll expect you to interpret for me if I don't quite get the gist of what the ruling's going to be.
I got you, no problem.
My Spanish is muy malo. So this should be interesting, folks. I wondered about the situation. Here we go.
Señores, las puntuaciones son como siguen. El juez Yaurado David la dio 29-28 a favor de Kennedy Katende. 28 on behalf of Kennedy Katende. Jones Kennedy y Roberto Servide la vieron 28-29 para el ganador por puntos, for the winner, points 28-29, Sijuola.
So they went with what? It was 1-1.
It was 29-28, and then 28-29 twice for Siju, and I felt like the right guy got the fight. If they're not going to do a draw, I think Siju had the edge, and I thought that was the right call tonight. So the Americans, the Miami Gallos finally get on the scoreboard and even things out a little bit.
Well, the shame of it is that we didn't get to. Kennedy didn't have time to adjust in there and maybe come back. But good for Siju. He's even his record at 2-2. So although the Mexico City Guerreros have won tonight, Miami comes through in the light heavyweight division to make the score 3-1, and they would like to make the final score 3-2 with their heavyweight Donovan Dennis coming up.